Today I'm going to paint an iris, and what I want to achieve is the transparency of the leaves of the flower itself. So in order to do that, we also need a background, and maybe a dark background or a white background. We don't know yet. I choose a complementary background, which is, if the flower is blue, it will be yellow. And I use different surfaces. One I have on Gatorboard and one I have on canvas. Then I'm pre-mixing all the colors that I see, that I think I see. I don't use purple as a color, but I mix alizarin crimson with ultramarine. Then I also have the green, which is sap green with cadmium yellow. That goes in the background, mixed with a little bit of ochre. To achieve the transparency of the fragile leaves, I'm not really sure how I'm going to attack that. Because if I make them too white, as in white, then everything becomes opaque. And the transparency of ultramarine actually disappears a little bit. There's another problem here, because I am using the yellow as the background. Even though I choose different brushes for the blue, a little bit of the background gets blurred, gets actually mixed in with the blue and creates a little bit of a dirty blue. And I want to have very bright blue. I want to have the pure color of the ultramarine. So I actually now have to let it dry. By the way, this is oil paint. We have to let it dry enough so that the colors are not going to mix again. So I wait a day and then I use the pure ultramarine color with a different brush. I'm still not that happy because it's not as bright as the flower is, and I want to achieve really that brightness, that pure ultramarine that will stand out against either the yellow or maybe a much darker backdrop. So I'm thinking maybe I should start out differently, and instead of a white canvas, I'm going to make the canvas purple. And I bought a special acrylic purple, bright purple, so that that can shine through at certain points to create that extreme brightness that the iris has. Because I think this is too dull. The iris doesn't look like that. Even the day after, I'm going over it with the pure blue, it's still not to my liking. So we need to find out something different. I will do the iris for a couple of tests, and so can you. Just see how far you can go. It's a very interesting flower, which has 3 petals with the yellow sticking out on one side and 3 different leaves sticking out on the other side. While I was painting the iris, I really was seeing this very clearly, and there's a symmetry in it. Now, I do like the yellow background, but I still don't like the blue, even not after one day of drying, and now it's not mixing really with the dirty blue that we had yesterday. I'm still looking for other options to do. And so can you. I want that brilliance of the sunlight to show without making everything too dark. So let's look at another option. This is wood, a wood panel, and I am preparing it with purple. I don't want to have any other color at this point in time, So now I'm painting it with blue to see if I can keep the freshness, the pure color from the start. I don't like the cutout, so I want to make it bigger. So I go over it, do it again, and then the underground is actually bothering me a little bit more. So I'm going to do it again with oil paint and a thin brush, which I can erase the petals and everything pretty good with just some Gamsol. I also can add color to it. I only have right now just ultramarine in an attempt to keep the brilliance of the color itself. In order to let that blue stand out, I need to have a dull background. I can mix it with white because even though the background is purple, it's not as brilliant as I would like to have it. So I still have to add white to it. But with adding white, it immediately becomes opaque. And that's exactly what I don't want. So I'm struggling with this a little bit. Now the background is yellow ochre, and I'm adding a little bit of blue and alizarin crimson, plus white at some areas. It's not completely random. To let things stand out, you need a dark and almost dull background. So here I feel like I'm starting to achieve a little bit what I would like to achieve. Then with another brush, I'm only adding the ultramarine so that the color in the brush cannot mix with the color that I'm adding. I'm adjusting it a little bit right now because I see that the curves are a little bit stronger. And I decide also to leave the outlines. This is a mixture of Viridian green, alizarin crimson, and ultramarine. That's how I make my black. I never use black. I don't have black in my toolbox at all. So let's look a little bit at the result eventually. Just follow it. I'll keep my mouth shut and see if you can do it too. And here's the result of two different attempts to recreate the iris. Now it's up to you.